once again talking about XRP as a reserve currency. Until I see Ripple pull back those statements, until I see Trump pull back his statement that, XRP is going to be included in our US crypto reserve, until I see Trump make statements saying, hey, I'm not friends with Stuart Alderati and Brad Garlinghouse, until I see Ripple pull back the simple goal of making XRP a world reserve currency, I myself and many of you will be treating XRP as a world reserve digital currency. Is it going to be part of the U.S. strategic stockpile reserve? We absolutely hope so. Are many corporations and institutions going to be treating XRP as a reserve currency? Absolutely. And so we're going to cover a full update here, current events, financial markets, and how to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. XRP closing off another day green. The momentum has shifted here back up over 30% from the lows down at $1.70 last month, the big February flush out. Today, we have a big eclipse. It's a big lunar eclipse. Later this month, we have another eclipse. And I just want to remind everybody of the old quote from JP Morgan, millionaires don't study astrology, billionaires do. So depending on how woo-woo you want to get with it, you can do that deal. It might be something you want to apply to your analysis. It might not be. That's fine. You could just stick to the charts. You could just stick to fundamentals. I know many of you guys just continue to accumulate, not even really paying attention to the price on a daily basis. For new folks, get on board with us, get strapped in, and get locked in because there's no reason to be bearish right now on XRP and other utility assets in the cryptocurrency space. So without further ado, I want to get into this update. I appreciate you guys for stopping by tonight. If you are new here, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. I dropped 2 videos earlier today. So we dropped the interview with Caleb and Brown, Jake Boyle. Highly recommend you guys go take a look at their platform. You can check out that interview. We talked about the Bybit hack, talked about the differences in Caleb and Brown's services and levels of institutional grade custody for all their clients. And that's obviously one of many community resources linked up down below. I dropped another video today talking about XRP bull run returns. And the funny part about that is I thought it was a good title. Obviously, didn't go over so well when XRP got up to about $2.30 and then it did come back down. And then everybody comes in and freaks out. Now we're back up again. And as I mentioned, we closed the day green. And really, I just laugh at that title, XRP bull run returns, because we're still up 350% since the election. Once again, we're investing in the Trump reality now. Whether you like him, love him, hate him, or are offended by Trump, we have to understand how this transfer of wealth is now moving forward. We have to understand the path and the direction that we are heading down. This is going to impact your business, your investments, and you don't have to like him. Once again, we don't have to be friends. You don't have to like Trump. You don't have to like me. We want to be effective. We want to position ourselves accordingly. And like I'm saying, there's no reason to be bearish or down at all right now on XRP. Obviously, if you got in a little bit later, it's not as nice. We're not sitting up 300, 400% on your investment like some of us are. And that's an absolute blessing. We got in early, we took advantage, and we held strong. To those of you in the chat, God bless you. For those of you who are new here, but you're down. You bought above 250. You bought $3 XRP. Don't worry. You're just fine. Continue to dollar cost average into your position here while it's on sale. We're building a floor price at $2. As I've been mentioning, place those orders around $2. It's not going to last long. So you got to have your orders placed. You got to be quick on the trigger. Floor price establishing at $2. But the XRP bull run never left. And that's the funny part about the second video that I dropped today is depending on where you measure from, XRP is still up by a lot. I mean, some of our portfolio was picked up below 20 cents on XRP. But now, here we are today, March 13th, 2025. What do we need to be doing right now? Well, really, it's been a program that we established since 2022 when we knew we were in a recession, when we were willing to say we were in a recession. I know that it was politically incorrect for some to call it a recession. That's not our program over here. Once again, we're not here to be liked. We're here to be effective. And so when others were being greedy back in 2022 and thought that we're just going to be up and to the right forever, we were actually warning, now's the time to get liquid. Now's the time to insulate and protect your income. Make sure you got your job. If it's time to start the side hustle, probably should consider it. If it's time to scale up the side hustle in the business, it needs to be done right away, because this was back in 2022 when we got 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. The odds that we get that again, there's a chance. And Scott Bessent, along with Trump and others, are saying, give us 6 to 12 months here before we can recover from, no longer be burdened by what has been, as Kamala said. So without further ado, I want to get into this update. I want everybody to understand where we're at. For the seasoned veterans in the chat, God bless you. For the new folks, welcome on board the train. Strap in. I'm sipping something light tonight. I hope you got something to enjoy yourself, and let's get this party started. Cheers, and God bless all of you. Somebody on TikTok asks, is Trump our savior? Well, the portfolio has performed rather well. I will say that. And we're going to hold Trump accountable. We're holding this Congress accountable. We got a lot to get done. Now, speaking of getting a few things done, very interesting, up in Canada, Governor Trudeau has left the office for the final time as Prime Minister. Goodbye. Good luck. God bless. I didn't mean to play the volume there of people yelling at Trudeau, probably saying some mean things, so I shouldn't play that clip. But that is Trudeau. One last wave goodbye and good riddance for Trudeau. And now Mark Carney's in. Very interesting selection up there. Mark Carney, former Bank of England, and of course was at Bank of England while they were partnered up with Ripple. Every corner you look around, Ripple's positioned perfectly. Chucky Boy Schumer, as I like to call him, caves and will vote to advance the continuing resolution bill per CNN. So the budget is going to be passed. We're going to be on till September. Looks like we're going to get the vote tomorrow and avoid the government shutdown. This one didn't take long. Schumer talking tough. Already folding. Shut down Schumer. I guess we'll have to pull that nickname from him because he's going to allow it to go through. Okay? Now, this budget is terrible. That's what's funny. People think that I just worship Trump, and I do think that, he is just our savior and he can't do any wrong. There's some ugly things that we got to fix. And you basically have to kind of work within and find out what the heck's even going on. That's what Elon and Doge are doing as tech support. But with Trump here, he's looking at this budget. If we don't get this budget passed, all hell breaks loose. And in my opinion, the plan is let's pass this budget and then we continue cutting and slashing and gutting out the government, but we have this budget to work with. And if we're going to reset, revalue, and restructure our currency and financial system, what's tacking on another few $100 billion to the deficit? I believe that that's the position that they're taking. Once again, this destroys the value of our currency. It's not all pretty. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and we've been trying to prepare folks for that. Now, we also get, so Putin comes to the table today and says that they have agreed to a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine after Trump sent Rubio and Witkoff to help broker it. So the art of the deal, I've been telling you guys, we got to do an art of the deal segment on every show, basically, because we have to acknowledge where we're at in the current events in that world stage. We have the budget now being passed, so we avoid the shutdown. We have Russia agreeing to the temporary ceasefire, and God bless it. Thank you. Hopefully we can keep this peace. It's been a bloody war over there, and we don't want that to happen anymore. We do not want to continue these wars that we've been funding by proxy or that we've been directly involved in. We really want to limit and reduce our presence and the overstepping that we've done, primarily fueled by our military-industrial complex. Putin comes to the table, agrees to the ceasefire. We avoid the shutdown. But why does the market come back down? And we also got stablecoin legislation passed today. It was like right as the news broke that the stablecoin legislation's passed, that we've avoided a government shutdown, and that Putin has agreed to the ceasefire, the market comes back down. And I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm like, what just happened? XRP was up above 230. Market starts coming back down. And I'm asking myself, what caused the market to come back? Trump must have said something. Sure enough, go to, he was had a NATO chief, or I think it was a NATO chief, somebody from NATO in the Oval Office today, and they were going back and forth a little bit. And he made comments basically saying that he wasn't going to back down from the tariffs on April 2nd. And that's all it took for our market to fold once again. I've been speaking on how fragile our stock market really is right now. And because the market makers that are using the same algorithms and bots to control the stock market, they're using the same ones on the cryptocurrency space. So when Trump says tariffs are going to go through, the algorithm bots get triggered. These are algorithmic bots that get triggered, And this is why they're both correlated. The primary tools of manipulation in crypto are Bitcoin, Tether, and other exchange stablecoins are the primary tools of manipulation that are keeping us so correlated with the broader stock market. Same algorithmic bots programmed the same way. Market back down because Trump, quote, isn't going to change his mind on tariffs going into effect on April 2nd. This statement triggers the same algorithmic bots across the stock market and crypto. Stock market just looking for an excuse to come back down towards fundamental values. Crypto needs real utility to decouple. You're asking the question, when do we decouple? When does this manipulation end? Well, we hope that moving the stock market and the rest of these markets to DLT, blockchain technology, trading 24/7, 365s, with removing naked shorting and other means and tools of manipulation, that we can get to a transparent market and we can see who holds what, where your leverage is at, what derivatives you hold, right? We can't track this right now. The derivatives market is well into the quadrillions. We can't even track it. It's so much. It's a shadow asset class, similar to the amount of debt. I mean, this is what we're weeding through with our government in Doge right now, is we don't even know what we have. This is what Trump had to outline in his executive order. Before we can even get into a conversation about which crypto should be part of the reserve, we got to figure out what the hell we even have. And that's where we're at with the broader, situation at hand. Now, continuing on here, the stock market and the S&P 500 here, brutal day. Closed in correction territory for the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ 100 is 7% away from its first bear market since 2022. Over the last 16 trading days, the S&P 500 has erased an average of 340 billion per trading day. As I've been saying in correlation or in relation to cryptocurrency, market cap is a figment of your imagination. Just like that, Trump puts out one tweet, 340 billion's gone. And obviously, this is over the past 16 days. We've been losing 340 billion per day. So this is added up into the trillions of value lost within our stock market. Okay. Very fragile stock market. And Michael Gayed, we've had him on the show here before. Lead leg report, great stuff. 1987 stock market crash gave back 10 months of gains. This decline has given back 10 months of gains. We may be in a crash. Junk debt holds the key. And we're going to start to see how quickly we can get rate cuts, because there's a lot of debt that needs to be refinanced from the U.S. government, the Fed balance sheet, corporate debt, all the way down to Main Street, and even junk debt. A lot of it needs to be rolled over. Real estate, a lot of it needs to be rolled over. And if the rates are going to stay where they're at right now, it's going to be a tough situation at hand. And so I was actually just talking about this with wifey. We were on a drive here with the family, and we were talking about, the potential of going into recession. And I was saying, the thing about it is you don't realize that you're in one until later on when it's officially confirmed. And I told her, I said, that's why you subscribe to my channel and you tune into me, because I'm going to give you the insight to let you know when we're in one, or when when it's time to have some caution as we proceed. And we're going to keep you up to date before the official headline comes out 6 months later and confirms that, yes, Q1 was negative GDP. Yes, Q2 was negative GDP. Yes, we are in an official recession. And remember, back in 2022, when we hit the official technical definition of a recession, it was politically incorrect, and we didn't want to harm Joe Biden's administration, and we were all supposed to just feel warm and fuzzy inside about the economy and not question the fake economic data that we were getting, even though we met the technical definition of a recession as taught in Economics 101, very basic. And so fast forward here to 2025, we've gone on an incredible rally, and the market rallied off of this Trump pump. But what the market is now coming to terms with is, yes, the outlook is fantastic, as we remain incredibly bullish about XRP, gold, other utility cryptocurrencies, and a few other assets, incredibly bullish. We understand on the flip side here that there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to fix, and there's going to be some sacrifices that need to be made in the meantime. And I mean, speaking of sacrifice, our banks would have been sacrificed if it wasn't for the Bank Term Funding Program, which officially just hit $0 today after being drained of $110 billion of liquidity. Now, back in the Great Financial Crisis, they ended up doing the big bailout of the banks and the mortgage providers, and the backstop for the system came in, and it was still ugly. It didn't stop us from going through a huge crash. And you know, to finish off the point that I was making too about being in a recession, right now we're in a bear market, and we're you know, that trajectory is already there. We're in a technical bear market for the S&P 500 and for other stocks in particular, and we're well on our way for the NASDAQ 100 and other indexes as well. But you won't know that you're in that official bear market and just how bad it's going to get, right? But we need to understand the direction that we're heading. This perfectly is coinciding with when the Bank Term Funding Program is officially hitting $0 worth of liquidity. This is a program that was created back in 2023 after the banking crisis in March. Now, this was a Band-Aid on the patient that eventually is going to pass. This patient is going to go. We can slap a bigger Band-Aid on the patient. It's not going to save them, okay? That's what the Bank Term Funding Program was. And as I've continued to remind us, we face a debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. This is the liquidity crisis, never got solved. The banking crisis, they tried to think, and really there was the sense that it got solved if you didn't look under the hood. And here we see we're officially out. So unless we provide another backstop, and maybe this is the bullish signal that we're about to get next week at the Fed meeting, is that they're going to reduce quantitative tightening. And maybe they're even going to be, well on their way towards quantitative easing later this year. A lot of people are talking about Trump crashing the stock market. He's been very, very clear, and I've spoke on this. He does not care about the volatility that's being felt in the stock market. He's concerned about saving the US dollar, and he's trying to bring down our budget, our deficit, address our debt, trying to figure out who we owe what to, who does need to be paid back. And in the short term, and he wants us to get a fair deal, obviously in the trade situation, we got to get a fair deal. And if part of that sacrifice is the stock market getting bumped 20 or 30%, that is a sacrifice he is willing to make. He's told you over and over again that he's not even watching the stock market. He's a real estate guy first, gold, and now crypto. So what should we be bullish on? Real estate, gold, and crypto. Sounds like it to me, and that's what I'm positioned to move on right now. That's my whole plan. Take profits from the crypto bull run this year. We roll it into real estate, start the real estate investment portfolio. And this whole time I've kept cash staying liquid so that we can ride out whatever they're going to throw at us. Aliens, whatever it may be. We're ready. Now, let's get into the cryptocurrency update here. Market, like I said, bouncing back today and over the past few days. XRP showing incredible strength. Despite all this, of course, we still battled the FUD. Charlie Gasparino. He can't troll us on price anymore, so now he just makes up lies like this one. Off of Eleanor Terrett's scoop from yesterday on the Ripple versus SEC settlement negotiations, one issue that is being weighed by the commission is whether XRP continues to trade and have a utility that makes it more a commodity and not a security. I am told that the Ethereum example is key. ETH was obviously issued as an ICO. Its characteristics on issuance was no different than XRP. Excuse me. It's a flat out lie. It's a flat out lie, right? Both used to finance the build out of a platform, yet Ripple got sued and Ethereum didn't because ETH had since morphed into a commodity. Well, that was because Bill Hinman decided to come up with his own definition of what decentralization meant. And because Ethereum met that definition that he made up, that was just his opinion, was not official law, was not even the official opinion of the SEC, but was literally just Bill Hinman's opinion. And he was actually told by other commissioners not to put this out, not to give this free pass speech, yet he still did. That's what made Ethereum morph into a commodity. What is being discussed now is the comparison between the two cryptos. The SEC believes that Ethereum trades as a pure commodity. They are trying to determine if the commission can make the case with XRP. It is very clear by now that Charlie Gasparino's handlers at Fox Business and even above Fox, whoever's controlling Charlie, come on, Charlie, we got to do better. We cannot just be spreading bold-faced lies like this. You are at Fox Business. We expect better. And without Eleanor Terrett, she's leaving Fox Business. I don't know who's going to be around to fact check you besides us over here in the Twitter space. And David Schwartz, who responded to Charlie, and he says Ethereum was privately sold by an issuer prior to any ledger or blockchain existing. XRP was not. There was a pre-sale ICO for Ethereum. There was not a pre-sale with XRP. There was no XRP sold before a blockchain existed. And there was no ICO. And Ripple has since done funding for their own company outside of selling XRP through raising funds in the traditional way. XRP sales are part of their business 100%, and a big part of their business. But right now, we got to be very clear here. XRP is being sold off by Ripple in a price neutral way to fund on-demand liquidity to institutions exclusively. So they are not dumping on retail as many of the fudsters like to say. Charlie Gasparino still can't even get the history right about how XRP was created versus how Ethereum was created. It is very clear by now that this same Ethereum free pass gang, it's Wall Street. Wall Street was in on Ethereum from the very beginning. They were the disguised whales. We've uncovered it all. The damages are massive. And yet Charlie Gasparino is still up here because his handlers or whoever's in his ear are telling him that this is the narrative that he should still be pushing out in March of 2025. It's a complete embarrassment on the behalf of Fox Business. Charlie Gasparino just doesn't care about his personal reputation. He's leaning into it. He says, spoken like a true cultist. It's just a joke. Now, like I said, he can't make fun of us for price anymore. We've absolutely blown out Ethereum and Bitcoin since the election. So nobody can make fun of us or troll us on price. Because he used to say, oh, your 50-cent coin. Sad, huh? Which is just this weird thing to say. We don't even, who says that? I mean, the way that he trolled us, I will be honest, I actually get entertainment out of it, but I feel embarrassed for the guy and for Fox Business. I'm like, this is your, other than Eleanor Terrett. Eleanor Terrett was the best in mainstream news on crypto reporting, by far. But Charlie Gasparino, her mentor, what are we doing here, Charlie? You know? But he just leans into it. And he's responding to Ashley Prosper, who says, your reporting has, on multiple occasions, presented inaccuracies highlighting that your analysis lacks a comprehensive understanding of the legal intricacies involved. And you display a discernible bias against Ripple and the XRP community. Such reporting undermines journalistic integrity and does a disservice to your audience. And Charlie responds by calling us a cult. It's like, no, you just got the facts wrong. In 2015, XRP was deemed a virtual currency. In 2023, July 13th, a historical ruling from Judge Torres came down that XRP in and of itself was not a security. We know it's not a security. We have a ruling that it's a currency. Similar to gold, it can be used as a commodity for its utility. This is not overly complicated. This it really has nothing to do, in my opinion, with the ongoing settlement negotiations. So I trust the scoop from Eleanor Terrett that the case is going to be over soon. But Charlie Gasparino saying that this goes back to Ethereum and how Ethereum's a commodity, but XRP's might not be. That's not what's going on here. This is over the injunction, how XRP can be sold off by Ripple going forward. And then obviously it's about the $125 million fine. Now, this is why I titled, and I'm going to take a sip of my adult beverage here so that we can settle in here and understand what's happening. Because this is why I titled this session here, XRP Reserve Currency. Cheers, everybody. We're moving along here. Only a few more posts to go, and then I'll be right into rapid fire Q&A. So I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you haven't already, please help us out. It's very simple. Back in 2017, Ripple stated that they had the simple goal. We've seen other institutions speak of XRP potentially being a stablecoin, being a reserve currency, being a bridge currency. Miguel Valles said that they were going to make XRP as liquid as a G10 currency. This is all statements that have not been brought back by Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, or anybody on the team ever. So why would we for 1 second think that that hasn't been the plan and that that's not still the plan when the president of the United States says that XRP is going to be in the reserve? Now, I know that the executive order, what did it address? First off, we got to do an audit of the crypto that we have. Second off, the Bitcoin that we have, we're going to put in a reserve. The other altcoins, we're going to put in a stockpile. That's what the executive order outlined. Did the executive order speak to XRP? Not directly. Why? Because criminals don't really use XRP. They use Bitcoin and other cryptos, which is an interesting data point in and of itself. Has Trump pulled back or walked back his statements of XRP being added to our crypto reserves? No. Did David Sachs come out and kind of walk back things a little bit? Yes. Why? Because they were being attacked for the conflict of interest, David Sachs and the Trump family. Is there a conflict of interest? Doesn't matter. We got to save this country. And then there's not actually. For the facts, we should get the facts across here. David Sachs sold off all his crypto. There is no conflict of interest with David Sachs. The Trump family is heavily invested in crypto. They're heavily invested in America. I'd rather have somebody as a politician who made all their money in private business, who is still invested in America and maybe benefits from some policies, like all Americans will, versus a politician who's only made their wealth by selling favors in DC. It's a big difference. But the reason why I'm calling this episode here today XRP Reserve Currency is because I'm going to hammer back in on this point, and I'm going to continue to. Until I see statements walked back by Trump, by Ripple, by Brad Garlinghouse, I'm going to stick to treating my XRP as a reserve currency, at least a large portion of it, and I know many of you guys are as well. Until I hear Trump say the XRP will not be in the U.S. crypto reserve or stockpile, I will refer to this statement below. This is the Truth Social that was put out a little over a week and a half ago on Sunday. Trump says a U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed by the Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP. Note that he mentions XRP first. Note that. A crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and Cardano. I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. Until Trump walks back this statement, I will be referring to that statement. Okay? Until Ripple pulls back this statement from 2017. Most importantly, we remain more committed than ever to the simple goal of making XRP the world's reserve digital currency. Until these statements are walked back or corrected, I will be referring to these statements as far as how I view XRP and how I treat XRP as a reserve. Until I hear Trump come out and say that he actually doesn't like these guys, I'm going to refer to this big smile on his face as he sits next to Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati. Everybody's getting all caught up on the technical nuance of reserve, of stockpile. Oh, the executive order said we're not going to buy more crypto. Why do you think I've been having this conversation about Ripple gifting some XRP to the Treasury? Why do you think that we've been having this conversation of how do we treat XRP like a reserve currency in the United States of America? And somebody posted a comment that I thought was very, very interesting here. This is Clever Crypto. He responded to my tweet here, and he says, just my speculation, I think another country will adopt XRP or put it in their reserves, and the U.S. will have no choice but to add it to our reserve. I hope I'm right. Well, what's interesting is we are seeing central banks around the world partner up with Ripple. We have seen Palau launch their stablecoin on the public XRP ledger. We have seen a Brazilian bank, the biggest FX provider in Brazil, launch a Brazilian real stablecoin on the XRP ledger. They are choosing the XRP ledger. Is it safe to assume that they might want to hold a little bit of XRP, the native currency of the ledger that they're going to tokenize their stablecoin on, right? Until I see these statements walked back from Trump, that he doesn't like these guys, that he doesn't like Ripple, that XRP is not going to be in the reserve. Until Ripple pulls back their statements on making XRP as liquid as a G10 currency, of making it a world reserve digital currency. Until we get a new court precedent, I will refer to the 2015 FinCEN ruling that declared XRP a virtual currency. I will refer to the July 13, 2023 ruling from Judge Torres that XRP in and of itself is not a security. Is it a currency? Is it a commodity? I've been saying it's both, just like gold. And just like gold is being used to back our new system, being acquired at record paces we've never seen before, gold breaking above $3,000 per ounce for the first time in its history, XRP also being treated as a reserve, a strategic commodity or currency. Is it going to be in a reserve? Is it going to be in a stockpile? Don't get lost in the sauce. Don't get lost on the technical nuance. Don't get confused about David Sachs kind of pulling back and walking back some comments to clarify. And as we've ultimately been saying, we need Congress to pass this. Only so much can be done from that stroke of a pen from our president. That's not how we want our country to run, is through executive orders. Executive orders send us down the path. Let me get some XRP family merch. Which path are we heading down now? The most recent Bearable Guy picture. You tell me. We got a gold and a purple path that takes us to a castle where the hidden hand is waving the white flag. What is happening right now with this SEC versus Ripple lawsuit? It's over. As Eleanor Terrett is reporting, this is going to be coming to an end here soon. We have to stay focused right now. We have to not be distracted by today's price and forget that this is a reserve currency. I was doing my research on Constellation DAG today, and you guys are going to want to tune in tomorrow when I drop this DAG deep dive. Because not only is this thing got some real utility and some interesting connections, I've been very impressed with my research so far. In full disclosure, I did buy a bag of DAG today. Full disclosure. I like to be honest with you guys. During my research on these coins, I tend to decide whether or not I'm going to buy a bag. But the point that I was going to make, you guys are going to want to tune in for this. Fundamentals are looking good, and it looks like it's going to really pop on the technicals. I'll provide a price prediction as well, too. But there's a big difference between how I treat XRP and how I treat every other one of these cryptocurrencies. These currencies to me are not reserve currencies. And there's a big difference there. Is this still going to be a good investment opportunity? Yeah. In fact, we might even see some more gains on DAG over the next little bull run that we have versus XRP potential. I mean, this thing, the technicals are looking fantastic. So tune in tomorrow for the DAG deep dive. I got that one ready to go. But there's a big difference between all these other cryptos that I have in my portfolio. None of them get treated like a reserve currency. And I have not seen any other cryptocurrency that is being treated as a reserve other than Bitcoin. That is the only other one that's in the same conversation. Now, like I mentioned, we have budget shutdown, government shutdown avoided. Peace in Ukraine signed. Putin agrees. Stablecoin legislation getting passed. And yet the market still goes back down a little bit and basically fools people of the unbelievable, the incredibly strong undercurrent. Remember what Brad said, the tide has shifted. Do I need to get out the XRP Perseverance ship? The tide has shifted. I'll leave it on. I'll leave it over there. The tides have the headwinds have shifted into tailwinds. And we get stablecoin legislation passing out of committee today. There's no reason to be bearish right now, guys. Stablecoin policy is on its way. Big thanks to Senator Hagerty, Loomis, Gillibrand, and Senator Tim Scott for their commitment with the Genius Act. Let's take a listen in here on Tim Scott.
More importantly, the American consumers deserve clarity. For far too long, the absence of a regulatory framework has left consumers vulnerable and businesses in the dark. This uncertainty has also stifled innovation here at home in America. That changes today. The Genius Act is a bipartisan step forward in ensuring stablecoins are safe and reliable tools in the financial system. The Genius Act establishes common sense rules that require stablecoin issuers to maintain reserves backed one-to-one, comply with anti-money laundering laws, and ultimately protect American consumers while promoting the U.S. dollar's strength in the global economy. This is about keeping innovation and opportunity on American soil rather than driving it overseas. We are also taking an action today to end the weaponization of financial regulators.
So finally, and I've been very vocal about how we're way past the point where this should even really be in a debate anymore. I'm glad to see the progress that we're making. This is a matter of national security that needs to be passed right away. We need to get the stablecoin bill passed ASAP, and then we need market structure bill so that we can preserve the gold standard of capital markets. This requires one-to-one backing. You're going to need cash in a bank account, or you're going to need treasuries, basically dollar equivalents to back your stablecoin. Tether is not going to be in compliance with this. Okay, so they're going to have to adjust, and that's just the fact, right? So if Tether does not make adjustments here, and you saw that Paolo from Tether was at the DC Crypto Summit, and Cantor Fitzgerald is actually the custodian of some Tether reserves, and Cantor Fitzgerald is the Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick's company. So the Secretary of Commerce has a connection to Tether, and both Howard Lutnick and Paolo were in that room, along with Ripple, and I didn't see Circle represented there, but you have basically three major stablecoin issuers, not just in the US, but across the world: Tether, Circle, and now Ripple. Ripple's in compliance fully, and they're actually over-collateralized, so there's more backing behind ROUSD than is even required. With Circle, they basically got caught up in the banking crisis back in 2023, where they were exposed to Silvergate. They had $3 billion of their reserves there, so they did get in trouble there. A little bit of counterparty risk that should be noted there on Circle. I think they've cleaned it up since, but they will be in compliance with this as well. When you move over to Tether, they've actually started to back Tether by Bitcoin, which is stupidity, and by gold, which makes sense. I actually like that. That's actually performed really well for Tether and for everybody else. I know some of you guys got your gold as well too. So backing Tether by gold actually worked well, and I believe that that's actually not a bad idea, but it's not going to be in compliance with the laws going forward. Unless they were to say that, tier one assets could be back your stablecoin, but I believe that is going to come in the market structure bill, where we'll get a little bit more clarity on basically tokenizing real world assets in the marketplaces that those cryptos will trade on. For now, they're focused on the stablecoins, and in the bill as it's written right now, I believe that it's just dollars or dollar equivalents. So it's cash in the bank, or it's treasuries. Okay. Tether's not in compliance. They're not coming into compliance in Europe. At least they haven't so far with MiCA regulations. And they're going to need to change their reserves to come into compliance here in the United States of America. I have a hard time believing that Paolo is there in DC with Howard Lutnick, who custodies his reserves, sitting right next to President Trump. And he's listening to this, and he's watching the stablecoin legislation get passed in the United States, and he sits this one out. I can't see that happening. I mean, that would be a massive mistake and a missed opportunity for sure. But what's interesting is that Paolo has said the reason why he doesn't want to go to fully backed one-to-one by cash, and for the MiCA regulations, it has to be held in European banks, is because he says that the banks basically don't have the liquidity either. And he would be exposed to the bank's mismanagement as well. And what's interesting is that's actually kind of true. It's a fair point. Now, should Tether have good backing? 100%. Putting the collateral in the banks, well, we found out with Circle, when they had $3 billion of collateral at Silvergate, that you might get yourself exposed. This, we bring it back to Ripple, where they once again have a competitive advantage because they have their own custody solution. They don't have any counterparty risk because they're going to keep the collateral at standard custody. So Ripple avoids any counterparty risk with their ROUSD by holding their reserves within their own entities. Circle doesn't do that. Tether doesn't do that. And Tether has some significant work to back their stablecoin if they want to be in compliance with this. But we'll keep tabs on that. Great to see that we're at least moving in the right direction. The stablecoin, the Genius Act, passed out of committee. Now it goes to the full, Senate Banking Committee. Yeah, Senate Banking Committee. So now it goes on to the full Senate. And then it'll move over to the House. And then President Trump can pass that into law. And what's important to note, too, is Tim Scott says that this is actually addressing the regulatory overreach and the burden from the regulators as well, too. Very important. Now, I wanted to just show you guys this. Stro protocol is the next protocol, the next DeFi program that is coming here, tapping into XRP and the XRP ledger. Their official documentation is now live. You can dive into our docs to understand the key terms behind Strobe's unique multi-chain approach, leveraging XRP Ledger's efficiency, Acceler's interoperability, and the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain for smart contract programmability. This is not an endorsement. I'm not saying to send your XRP to that platform. I just want to show you guys this, and I will be conducting due diligence on this platform along with all the other XRP DeFi programs because I want to at least provide my review, my analysis. I'm not here to give you financial advice or tell you what to do, but I'm definitely going to tell you my opinion and my analysis on all of these DeFi programs, where they're getting yield from. Is it going to be sustainable? Can we trust them with our XRP? But the point that I'm showing you here is that it's on the way. The floodgates have opened up, and this is even before broader regulations get passed, and the institutions and the banks that we know and work with right now can offer the same products. Now, what's happening too is the whales continue to pick up, and the whale addresses that are holding XRP continue to grow larger. It's very simple. We see another whale transaction here buying 12 million of XRP from OKX. So, you're seeing whale transactions like this. Earlier today, we saw 200 million XRP on the move from Ripple. And so big XRP whale movements. The price is holding. We set this $2 floor price up now, and we're holding it really well. I'm going to move to the charts real quick, but please start to drop your guys' comments and questions. I'm going to move on into Q&A session right now. So showing you here once again, off of this low here, back at $1.70 is what we hit on February 3rd. And we're now up about 33%. Earlier today, it was about 37% when we were up about $2.33, $2.34. That's about a 37% move off that most recent low. But even where we're at right now, 33%, that is an official bull run, right? A 20% move to the upside or downside determines whether or not you're in a bull run or a bear run. And that's the traditional metrics. What we have to be, ready for in crypto, though, is these 50% drawdowns like this one, right? We were at $3.40 on January 16th, and we closed 16 days above $3. We've never done that before in XRP's history. Before we get the largest liquidation event in the history of crypto, taking us back down to $1.70, a full 50% cut it in half, clean out, flush out to begin February. I've been saying that was the bottom. I still feel strong that that was the bottom. And sure enough, we complete the triple tap here once again, just like we did back in December. Triple tap, and we've now closed 1, 2, 3 days in the green. And here's your Friday, March 14th candle that has begun. We're already pushing back up towards $2.30 right now. And as I mentioned, we're up 350% since the election. There is no reason to be bearish right now. XRP is still being treated like a reserve currency. I'm going to stand by President Trump's statements. I'm going to stand and refer to Ripple's statements and simple goal of making XRP a reserve currency while at the same time stacking these other utility assets that I'm getting very excited about. I mean, today, markets were down. I wasn't paying attention because I was doing fundamental deep dive research on DAG. This is how you play the game. All the noise is happening. Markets are down. People are crying. We're in the fundamentals. We're deep in it. And I bought some today. I bought some DAG today. It bounced right off the level that I had actually called on Sunday when we did our Discord weekly call. You can see for DAG, I'd put my mark down here at about 3.4. About 3.5 cents. And that's basically right where DAG went on down to. And it already pushed back up above 5 cents. I got the pullback here at about 4.5 cents, I think is where I acquired my DAG at. And I acquired it on Uphold, which Uphold I do have linked up down below. If you guys don't already have an Uphold account, I have that one linked up down below. Okay, let's go rapid fire Q&A. If you're focused on the moon, you're horribly short-sighted. Well, Scott, I mean, JP Morgan back in the day said very famously, millionaires don't study astrology, billionaires do. I don't spend too much time on it. I don't care to talk about horoscopes and stuff like that. I believe that there is something to, the energy shifting right now, whether that's the moon or not. I think we need to focus on how it's going to impact our portfolios first and foremost. And if, like I said, if you don't want to include it in your analysis, you don't have to. Okay. We're seeing XRP decouple from Bitcoin. Yes. I would argue that XRP's really, somebody called XRP trash today in my comments and was talking about how Bitcoin was better or something like that, or how they move in comparison. Basically, when Bitcoin moves, the rest of the market moves, including XRP garbage. And I said, well, yeah, they do move in the same direction, but it's not even close as far as how far we're moving, because XRP swung up 600% after the election and Bitcoin only did 60%. So, you could call that a decoupling. Definitely we created a gap, right? We took off from the finish line on the election day and entered a new reality. And we've been running a lot harder than the rest of the market. But like I said, I'm still picking up great opportunities right now. DAG, it scoops them up today. Fundamentals look fantastic. The narrative is strong, good enough to pump it. And that's all I'm looking for. And so, yeah. Forget the moon. We're aiming for Jupiter. Yep. Yeah, DAG is on uphold. Thoughts on Zebek? It's a very small problem. Zebek is a very small problem. Payroll, it relatively speaking, it's a nice utility, relatively small problem. But that doesn't mean that the token's still not going to move. I'm not in Zebek. A lot of people have gotten into that one lately. I'm out. Matt, thank you. You guys appreciate my work. Thank you. Yeah, Caleb and Brown doesn't have DAG. Yeah, they'll probably get it. I imagine they will. More and more people are wanting to get exposure to DAG. I meant to ask Jake about that, but we only had about 30 minutes for the interview, and I forgot to get that one in. And I was gonna, but I'll send them a message. Yeah, Atlantic Living. I'll send them a message, and we can get them to list it. They're very open. I love my new Caleb and Brown broker on the phone for 1 hour and held my boomer hand and assisted in transfers from Coinbase and Robinhood. Thank you, Zach. Chucky, that's what it's all about. I told Jake last night, guys, and I want to get to your other questions too. I'm not just trying to shill you Caleb and Brown, but I literally mean this. For new people, you called yourself a boomer, right? God bless the boomers too. We got to get the boomers into crypto big time, because we don't want them to be stuck in the stock market and their 401ks get completely wiped out. I don't want to see that happen. I really don't. And we got to get them in better opportunities. And so Caleb and Brown is the best platform for new people that can't do self-custody, that aren't tech savvy, that need their hand held. They're the best program. It's just not even close. No other exchange or service will pick up the phone and hold your hand through the process. So for new people that aren't as tech savvy, I can't recommend any other platform other than Caleb and Brown. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Ondo, it's already ran. I feel like I'm late. That's why I'm not invested in it. It looks very solid. Glad to see the collaboration with Ripple XRP. I'm out right now. Okay. And I'm staying on the sidelines on Ondo. I don't like to FOMO in. I don't like to FOMO into green candles. As assets are, Ondo's new. It's already, been up to a new all-time high. Is it still going to run? Maybe. It's not something I can really throw something considerable at, feeling like I have good conviction behind that play right now. I still got to research it a little bit more, but even from the research I've done, it doesn't look like I need to. I'm not jumping. I'm not FOMOing into a position on Ondo right now, but it looks really good. Looks good. Talk wallets to me. I don't talk wallets. Whatever you're comfortable with. That's what I'm about. Definitely no QFS. Definitely no QFS wallets. Those are all scams. I like the Zaman wallet for the XRP Ledger wallet. I recommend that everybody that holds XRP eventually get a Zaman wallet if you're going to be doing any sort of trading with XRP Ledger assets. Because as real world assets get tokenized on the XRP Ledger, I want you guys to not have to deal with any middleman as you go to the XRP Ledger DEX to trade these real world assets, to put your assets to work in the AMM. This is how you become your own bank. And so this is why I encourage everybody to have a Zaman wallet, or at least a self-custody XRP Ledger wallet, where you can then use the interfaces like XP Market, X Magnetic. Even from Zaman, you can directly trade on the DEX too, and other X apps as well. So, Sologenic. There's many DEX interfaces. And so I encourage everybody to at least get familiar with that if you plan on ever, trading any of these tokens on the XRP Ledger, participating in the AMM, DeFi, etc. Whoa, we got the real estate ninja, not the economic ninja, but the real estate ninja is in the house. Travis, good to see you, brother. Travis, good to see you, brother. Appreciate your work, man. I love your real estate stuff, man. I love your real estate stuff. I love all your updates too. I love all your updates too, man. Will we see an alt season? Yes, we're in the middle of one right now, guys. The bull run is not over. And crypto's still getting hit as the broader market takes these hits. We're once again controlled by the same market makers. It's the same algorithmic bots that are trading against us, and that are controlling the stock market, that are controlling crypto. When Trump says A, well, basically, here's the equation. When Trump says X, we do Y, and that equals Z. I mean, it's a simple deal here. Same equation. And this is why, as long as we're correlated with really Bitcoin, and Tether is the main stablecoin that's providing over 60% of the liquidity for crypto trading, we're going to be correlated to the stock market. The only way that we break free of that, in my opinion, is the utility of these assets. This is why you have, what was that one coin that we talked? Oh, Telcoin. Market was down in February. Well, and one coin that was still just running was Telcoin. Why? Because they got a banking charter in Wyoming or whatever that deal was. I mean, that's great fundamentals. In the middle of the one of the worst liquidation events we've had in crypto ever, this coin's still running because they're still building. They're still getting a bank charter or whatever that deal was. And so you have to look across here. There's still coins that are running, that are breaking free, strong fundamentals, and then the narrative, right? The narrative. If it has strong enough fundamentals that you can develop a narrative, it can be sold. That's how this crypto game's played. Whether or not the project's actually going to fulfill on their goals or their big aspirations and dreams, that's still yet to be seen. But as long as you have enough of a narrative, I'm telling you, I was looking at that DAG. It's got a narrative. It's got a hell of a narrative. And it actually has something to back it up too, which is ultimately what you want to see, right? Can you show us how to transfer crypto to a hard wallet? I don't do any of that. I do have a few people in my private Discord community that do help with that, but personally, I can't do that. It's just something that's not scalable, and I really don't want to expose myself to that risk of having, helping people transfer crypto. So I don't do any of that. But we do have some people in our Discord group that are willing to help you. But yeah, that's not something that I provide. What is DAG? It's the Constellation Network, and DAG is the token. Yep, I'll be providing a deep dive on it tomorrow for you guys. No, I don't hold Bitcoin. No. No, we're very community-based over here. We have a very strong community over here. Really couldn't do it without you guys' support. You guys have been amazing. All through this bear market, when the times were tough, you guys didn't go anywhere. You didn't waver. And now it's paying off handsomely. Oh, thank you for reminding me. The comprehensive proposal. Some Joe Blow wrote it. It's not a big deal. Okay? I'm glad that you reminded me because I really wanted to clarify this. The reason why I didn't tweet it out is because I knew I'd already seen this a few weeks ago when it initially got submitted to the SEC. Basically, anybody can submit something to the SEC and then it gets published on their website. So God bless the guy who did it, Maximilian or whatever his name is. God bless him for doing so. I mean, I love the fact that now XRP as a strategic reserve has to be put on the SEC website. Fantastic. But basically, it's just some guy made it, submitted it to the SEC. They have to put it on their website. So it's not that it was a fake. It's just basically a Joe Blow wrote in a statement to the SEC. No disrespect, Maximilian. Like I said, God bless you. Thank you. I think it's rather funny. But it's not the SEC. Some people were, sharing it as if it was an SEC official proposal or statement. That's not the case. But the reason why I say God bless Maximilian for doing this is because it opens up that conversation. We start to talk again, once again, about XRP being a reserve, not like any of these other cryptos, right? And how XRP can be used effectively by our government, our treasury, as a strategic reserve asset. We got to have that conversation. So, the XRP army doing what we do best. We got multiple attacks taking place here, right? Multiple fronts. And so Maximilian, he hit him with the flank. He hit him with a little SEC submission. I think it's by law that they have to put it on their website. Now, the same people saying that there's no chance of XRP being in the reserve, right, are the same people that were saying it before Trump put out the post just a week and a half ago. And yet people are still perpetuating this, idea and opinion that XRP is not going to be in the reserve, even though, like I mentioned earlier, Trump has not walked back those comments. And David Sachs walked back and kind of, eased things up and explained kind of their position. But this deal's not over. This is not figured out. This is not done. So until he wants to tell us that Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati aren't his friends, he didn't like the beef bourguignon dinner, I'm going to run with his statement that XRP is going to be a reserve. Is it going to be in a stockpile, reserve? What are they going to call it? Doesn't matter. We need some. Our treasury needs some as a matter of national security. We need stablecoin legislation passed. We need good assets strategically stockpiled, like our oil. I mean, Biden drained our strategic petroleum reserve, right? That's a problem. Other commodities, as we continue with this tariff war and trying to get ourselves a fair deal, we're going to have to get strategic about certain commodities. Why do you think gold is at $3,000 per ounce? Why do you think that silver went above? What did it do? $34 today? By the way, we got precious metals linked up down below for you guys. If you're looking to get gold, silver, we have you covered. Gold. There we have it. Almost $3,000 per ounce on the futures contract. But we officially did go above 3,000 today. We officially did break it for the first time ever on the gold continuous contract. Other comments and questions? Trump says a lot of stuff. Well, very clearly, though, he said XRP is going to be included in the reserve, and he said XRP first. And, actually, I forgot that I wanted to mention one other point on that. Think about this, because this gets very interesting to me. We actually confirmed that Brad Garlinghouse met with Trump before it was really public. If you recall, I put out a tweet, and I was kind of sneak dissing Charles and Cardano. And I said, some people are talking about meeting with Trump. Others are actually doing it. And Brad Garlinghouse liked that tweet. Now, I took a screenshot of that, and I shared that out with the community because I was really excited, and I thought the community should know this. That Brad Garlinghouse likes this tweet, confirming that, yeah, some people are talking about meeting with Trump. Others actually are. Now, well, what's interesting about this, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, consider this fact, that Brad Garlinghouse goes on the Liz Klayman show like the next day. And Liz Klayman asked Brad Garlinghouse about this. She says, Brad, you liked a tweet. And I'm sitting in the Popeyes parking lot. I'll never forget this. I was out and about running some errands. I picked myself up a little chicken Sammy from Popeyes. Boy, they're overpriced. But anyways, I'm eating my chicken sandwich. And I about spit it out when I heard Liz Klayman say, so Brad, you liked this tweet the other day about meeting with President Trump. Can you speak to that? And Brad, the professional that he is, as smooth as ever, kind of shrugged it off and kind of avoided that one and said, well, I can't speak to any direct meetings, but, we support the president and yada, 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 right? He completely avoided it. Think about that for a second. Why did Brad Garlinghouse have to be hush-hush and secretive about his meeting with Trump? If Ripple and XRP wasn't doing anything special, if they were just another body that filled up the room there at the DC Crypto Summit, if nothing special was going on, why couldn't he tell people about meeting with Trump? Why did he want to avoid that? And I was like, oh, crap. I blew his cover. Oh, I shouldn't have done this. I got Liz Klayman asking him about this on national television. The only reason that I can think of is that it was a national security clearance meeting or a meeting in the context of national security, which is exactly what Trump said about stablecoins being the key to expanding U.S. dollar dominance and restoring the U.S. dollar supremacy. So think about that for a moment. Everybody else would have been taking selfies in the Oval Office or Mar-a-Lago, right? They would have, been sharing it live. After the fact, they would have, done a video, done a post and said, oh, I just met with President Trump. But why couldn't Brad confirm that? Why? To me, it's an interesting data point that should be considered, right? Interested to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Okay. Blood Moon, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of haters in the comments. That's fine. We just ask them, how's your program working out? But think about that for a second. I think Pippin is full of crap. Scottie Pippen gets it, man. He's bullish as ever on XRP and crypto. He gets it. Yeah, and that was so interesting. When he said that he met Satoshi, Michael Saylor snapped right away. What are they so scared of? Interesting. Did you guys talk about the SEC meeting? Yes, another Sunshine Act meeting did take place today. Yep. I did miss a few super chats. Let me circle back here. Blake Preston, thank you for the 5 spot. Thanks, Zach. After ETF of Ethereum approved in 2024, prices are disappointing nearing 1 year later. Can we expect this for XRP or does it decouple? The fundamentals on ETH are just weak. The narrative there, the momentum isn't there, right? There is no momentum on ETH. So ETH, despite getting the ETFs going live, yes, it has been lagging. It's been a very poor performer. And I believe that the main thing that's happening right now is that the smart contracts space is so diluted. This is why I haven't focused on too much on smart contract investments, because there's so many of them and the space is so diluted. And so I think that it's taking away market share from Ethereum. There's no clear roadmap. They need another update. They didn't fix the gas issues. I mean, as we called it, I said ETH 2.0 is going to be the biggest flop in cryptocurrency upgrade history. And that's exactly what it was. None of the issues were fixed. So I don't think that we're going to see the same thing after the XRP ETFs pass. I think that actually the XRP ETFs could actually surpass the inflows on the Bitcoin ETFs. You have to think about this. This is what's happening in the retail space right now. Is the average investor is skipping over Bitcoin. They're going to XRP, other cryptocurrencies, and even meme coins. New crypto investors would rather have meme coins than Bitcoin. That's the new reality. And I don't think, and for institutions, they're going to rather have utility assets versus Bitcoin, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. I definitely think that we're going to flip Ethereum this bull run. 100% we're going to flip ETH. We're even going to give Bitcoin a run for its money too. Trump's careful to avoid XRP buy conflicts, own zero. Dennis, exactly. The reason why David Sachs walked back the comments was because they were getting attacked for the conflict of interest. That's it. Yep. 1970 Legend asks, any orders yet? No, we haven't. And in fact, I think I got to check my Australian orders too. I think that we have fulfilled all of the free shipping giveaway orders to Australia that we had. So I do need to check that. But Legend, yes, we got your funding on the side here ready to fund some free shipping. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your support. Frank Kerr, thank you for the 10 spot. SEC meeting notes are out. What did it say? What did it say? Let me take a look. Even Jeremy Hogan says, the blood moon begins. Here we go. Appreciate Hogan for keeping us up to date. X-Pilot, thank you for the 1090. Hey, Zach, flip the switch. We are flipping switches. We most definitely are. The stablecoin legislation getting passed out of committee. That's a tiny little switch. Tiny little one. Franklin Templeton launching their ETF. That's a big one. You know, that's a fairly sized one. Gary Lamb says, give 20 billion XRP from escrow and attach T-bills to them at 10,000 each. Debt and surplus solution. The problem I have with that is a couple, Gary. I think it's a great idea to do some sort of plan. We got to come up with some sort of deal. And I think that one's already in the works, right? Before I figure out what we're going to pay off the debt with, I want to figure out who we owe what to and who we're actually going to pay back. I believe that Trump, just like he's done with many of the companies that he's strategically bankrupt, remember, bankruptcy is a strategic move at that level in business. Many people don't understand that and are confused about that, but that's what Trump's done with multiple businesses, buying businesses and acquiring businesses that he knows he's going to take through that process. And so in similar fashion, I think that we're going to do that with the United States debt as well. So who do we even owe debt to? How much is it? And who's going to get paid back on what terms? After that gets determined, then I think we should talk about ways to pay it back. I don't think that XRP needs to be used to pay back the debt. I think that, we have a stockpile of gold. We have other cryptocurrencies too. We also have a lot of other resources as well. Trump's talking about the gold card, 5 million pay to play coming to the United States of America. There's many ways in which we can fund our government, tariffs, etc. And there's many ways that we can address the debt crisis. I think that XRP should be used to address the liquidity crisis and could potentially be used to address the debt crisis as well too. But as far as attaching T-bills to it, it appears to me that this is basically the plan next year to introduce 50-year gold-backed and gold-redeemable bonds from the Treasury on our 250th anniversary. So if we can do that with the gold that we already have, I think that that's a great plan. Do we want to do something similar with our XRP? Maybe a deal could be done there too. I'm not going to rule it out. And I think that, Gary suggests an idea here. I got some ideas. We got to fix these issues, debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. But it's just like Doge and Elon are starting off here. We got to figure out where the hell we're at before we can decide which direction to head, right? We have no idea where we're at, who we owe, what to. And so once that gets figured out, we can really get into this, but it's important. And I think that XRP definitely is going to play a role. How high is XRP expected to go? I still believe we're going $7 to $10 in the not too distant future for XRP. The case is over. The ETFs are going to go live. The fundamentals just continue to get better. I'm reading your guys' comments and questions right now. Please continue. And if you guys haven't already, please make sure you have liked this video. Greatly appreciate you. XLM to $50. I think the XLM goes $2 to $3 max this bull run personally. The everything. Thank you for the 5 spot. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Judy Shelton, the gold T-bonds. Yeah. Yeah. We got to figure out what we have in Fort Knox. That's a good point. Do we even have the gold that we think we have? Right, we got to figure out what debt do we have, and then we got to figure out what assets do we have. What gold do we have? Do we have any silver? Do we have any cryptocurrency? Where is our Bitcoin? Did the Biden family run off with it? Picking up some Link. Yeah, I think Link can run $50. I think it struggles to break $100 this bull run. So at these levels, if it does achieve that, you'll have a nice play. $7 to $10 isn't generational wealth. It is for some, actually. I've been speaking with some people in our one-on-one sessions. $5 is life-changing for quite a few people that I've talked to. In fact, it's actually life-changing for me and many people that I know. Now, is it generational wealth? Maybe not quite yet, but it is for some. And then, yeah, as we go up, I still think that XRP can run $20 to $30 in the next year or so. I think that we just have to clear out all the sellers who are waiting to get out before $10. There's a lot of people looking to get out before $10, right at around $10. So we got to get that out of the way, and then we can move up to $20 and beyond. Can XRP hit 50? Yes, I believe that it will. I believe that XRP is going above $100 eventually. Robert Driscoll, thank you for the 2 spot. Yeah, we got to figure out where the gold's at. $5 is a joke. You must not be positioned like some of us are, right? I mean, $5 might be a joke to some. It's not a joke to many in the community. Yeah. Predictions for ADA, $3 to $5. I don't think it breaks above 10. Somebody's bearish and says it's only going to bounce. Yeah, I've been hearing about a lot of pro traders that said XRP was going to $1.50. I hope they're doing all right, because it didn't go to $1.50. It really didn't even get close again. And not to say that we're in the clear yet. I don't want to speak too soon. We could get another eclipse sacrifice, as we've seen in the past. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, refer to November 8th, 2022, the day that Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX blew up, which also was a eclipse, part of a back-to-back eclipse moment as well too. I'm just laughing because on my video that I dropped earlier, I mentioned the blood moon at the start of the video, and somebody's comment was, "Can't believe you're talking about the moon when I come here for facts. I'm out." I was like, okay. And I posted JP Morgan's quote right under their comment. It's like, okay, it's just take a joke maybe. I'm not saying that you should worship the moon. I'm not saying I need to know what your horoscope is to determine what investments are going to suit you best. Although some people might be doing that. I don't know. I don't know. I know that the enemy worships the moon, though. And that's the important part of this. You have to understand the enemy. Our enemy is evil. Once you understand our enemy, you get a little bit more clarity as far as who we're up against. SHIB, I think that SHIB, Pepe, Doge are all laggers. Their memes have lost momentum. Elon's tweeting out about Doge is not performing or doing anything. I regret transferring. I traded some of my algo into Doge a few months ago. Just a complete doofus moron trade. Shouldn't have done it. So I hold a bag of Doge. I can't wait to get rid of it. Zach was built for this. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support. We do have to be realistic. Absolutely. Red Pill Queen says Chinese Zodiac is where it's at. See, I leave that up to you guys. Who's the enemy that you're talking about? Well, I can't talk about them here. I got to go to my safe space to talk about the enemy. Wes Hill, I appreciate the 10 spot. Zach, I've been subscribed for almost a year and watch your content almost every day. Can you drop some quick bullet points on what your background is? Just curious. Yeah, so basically I started a property service business, started mowing lawns back in 2015. This is why the haters and the trolls call me Lawn Boy still. I've since actually sold off that business, and I completed that sale back in November of last year. And I was coming up on the 10-year anniversary of owning that business. That business is where I got my business education. And then I basically started investing in 2018 in Bitcoin. And then I moved into XRP and the other digital assets by 2019. And so for the past 6 years, I've been investing in crypto and researching the broader financial markets. Basically, I started my business career back in 2015 and basically self-taught for the most part. But self-taught is kind of a not the proper way to do it, because I owe a lot of credit to very smart people that I listened to along the way. And so that's my background. That's where I come from. In 2021, I started making TikToks, started making content there, and I blew up on TikTok. And then I moved over to YouTube basically a year later. Basically, it's August of 2021. I think it's when I really started putting out content on YouTube more. And then just never looked back and have just been putting out content on a daily basis. But yeah, basically small business background. I've sold off that business and now I just do my media business full time, which is why, I can be here. I can be more active, more locked in, and ultimately have a bigger impact, hopefully on more people and on our world through this platform. And so I'm very grateful for this platform. I'm very grateful for where I come from and how I got here. No handouts, nothing. But like I said, I listened to people who, understood their niche, understood their asset class, understood their business. And, starting from the basics like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, to, the different guys that I listen to on real estate now, to economists like Danielle DiMartino Booth that I got tapped in with a few years ago. I've always loved her stuff. And then basically the mentor who's kicked my ass the best has been Dan Pena. And I started following him a couple years ago. I don't follow him for crypto advice. And that's very important. As I noted, I focus on what I can get out of these people for what they know. Dan, I don't care. He says that Bitcoin was created by Putin. If you knew who created Bitcoin, it would go to zero in an instant. I still believe the old man. He's a crazy old man who's tapped in with some very, very powerful entities. But I took business and life advice from him. And his program has been the most effective, I feel, in as far as my upbringing and business development myself. His program has been the most effective. Funny enough, Grant Cardone, who I don't agree with on everything, I respect Grant tremendously. He was a big part of sales, right? So for each one of these guys, I used, Grant to understand sales, 10X, Sell or Be Sold, great books. Basically, even before I had my business, I worked as a maintenance guy straight out of high school. I was a pool boy for one summer, and then the HOA moved me into maintenance, and then eventually I went on to the golf course, started my own business, and then I left my job to go full-time into business. But I had the privilege of being able to listen to podcasts and audiobooks for 6 hours plus a day. So I've been pounding out podcasts and audiobooks for a decade. And in every phase of my life and business development journey and investment journey, I've gone through a few different mentors and content creators that I've looked up to that brought me to where I'm at today. But, that combined with just real world experience, pounding pavement, knocking on doors, having to sell for a living, having to sell myself, my services, and my products for a living, that's what taught me the most. Dan Pena pep talks are the best. He's a little rough around the edges, and some people don't like that. I like him because he reminds me of my grandfather, Vietnam veteran, Marine. My grandpa was not as vulgar as Dan, but he just reminds me. He's that old timer who's stubborn as hell and doesn't care to offend you, and that's exactly who I want as a business coach. Is he the nicest guy? Has he done no wrong? No, that's not the point. Does he know who created Bitcoin? I think that he knows it was government intelligence, which is why he says if you knew who created Bitcoin, you would run to sell it as fast as possible, because he thinks that most people in crypto and Bitcoin are trying to get away from the government and trying to hide their transactions. And so I believe that's why he says you would run to sell it as fast as possible, because he has the perception that all you crypto Bitcoin guys just want to run around and hide your money and do all that stuff. That's my thinking behind why he says that. But yeah. That's who I am and where I come from in a nutshell. Zach is like 28. Yeah, I'm 30 right now. Yeah, I'm 30. I can look more closer to 28 if I shave my beard off. If I shave my beard, I get myself a couple years. If I rock the beard, I look a little bit older. Oh. That's the sad part. I had some crazy thing going on TikTok. I think I got rid of them, guys, but let me know. On my TikTok posts, I can't even read through the comments because there's so many scammers, guys. I'm sorry on TikTok. I've tried to keep up. We got, community mods that help on TikTok. That's a lost cause over there, man. Every post I put out a TikTok talking about the QFS scammers and the scammers that are trying to get you in on the Flare airdrop still. And in that post, in the comments, there's QFS scammers and Flare airdrop scammers. Like, these guys have no shame. I appreciate the blue collar background, though. I really do. I got to say, now that I've been out of the field I was basically out of the field for a couple years before I exited my business. Now I'm an office guy, right? I feel like now I'm an office guy, right? And I was thinking, typically this time of year, at the beginning of March, I'd be really excited, right? We'd be out of winter, and us landscapers, we would always struggle during winter, right? We don't get much snow up here in the Pacific Northwest. So when we do, we pray for snow up here because then we can make some money doing snow work. But basically during this time of year, I'd always get excited to sun's coming out a little bit, or mostly we're 40 degrees and raining here in Pacific Northwest, but we can start making some money again. And we get up and we go out to work, right? And the other day I was just taking a moment to appreciate, but also it just feels strange. I'm like putting on some, khakis and putting on some XRP family merch. I'm thinking, man, how did we get so blessed to get here? So it still doesn't feel real, but once again, I have a commitment to you guys. This platform is just been tremendous, but we're just getting started. We're still going to get a lot bigger than this, and we're going to help a lot more people than what we've done so far. And it's going to be a lot of fun in the process too. I missed a super chat. Let me circle back here. Julia, thank you for the 5 spot. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Dennis, thank you. BlackRock announces as soon as settlement. BlackRock XRP ETF on the way. 100%, Dennis. Absolutely. You already know the deal. There's no way in hell BlackRock is going to miss the XRP train. In fact, that's part of my speculation as to why these ETFs are being delayed by the SEC. Is BlackRock and Wall Street wants more time to figure out which ETFs they want to launch and to get their ducks in a row. I mean, Franklin Templeton, for crying out loud, just got their S1 for their ETF in the other day. So they're way late. Way late. Chosen One Collecting, thoughts on Sol, worth having a bag, what are the pros? It's not an opportunity that gets me very excited, to be honest, with Solana. I'm going to pull up my chart real quick to take a peek, but I've just never been thrilled. I didn't get early. I didn't get in early on Solana. I'm going to check my fib here on my Solana chart to see where we could bounce to on the recovery. Yeah, I mean, a full 4.236, we do go up to $900. I don't think that it happens, though. I know that Trump says that Solana will be included in the reserve, so I still do give it a chance that it runs up here $400 or $500, which is the 1786, 1618. You know, you're up at those fib levels, you would be reaching upwards of about $400, which now that Solana's back at 120, you know, you have an opportunity to catch a 3-bagger or a 4-bagger if it goes up to $400 or $500 from this level today. When it was up above $200, it just was not an opportunity that had any interest, that I had any interest in. Now that it's pulled back, yeah, maybe, but I'm just not as certain on some of these plays like Solana, right? Between the VCs that could dump on you, I don't know where they're at with their tokenomics and their inflation as well too. So, I'd be looking to get out of Solana if I did have some above $400. And I'd probably try to get rid of the entire bag by $500 personally. Okay, another super chat here from Dennis, 5-spot. XRP switch will flip in US October 2025 when Lagarde said digital euro goes live. Ripple has created ROE. Yeah. The problem with that, Dennis, check back on that comment because I believe that that's actually when the testing ends. And there was a comment that was made by Anthony Welfare. And he pointed out, I'm going to pull this up right now so I can show you what I'm talking about. Anthony Welfare. Oh, I didn't know that Anthony started following me. That's pretty cool. So he used to be at Ripple. Now he just basically consults, CEO and co-founder of Entergo Digital. I didn't know that he moved in on that one. But he said this tweet right here. Just to be clear, as I've stated all week, the digital euro CBDC is not launching in October 2025 or anytime soon. They are still discussing it and have zero decisions made. No legislation and no technology. Its launch is 2035 at the earliest. Euro-denominated stablecoins are around now and growing adoption fast under MiCA regulation. If you don't want a CBDC, your education and central bank money and commercial bank money is worth the investment. So, to your point, Dennis, on stablecoins are going to be front-running the CBDC for now. And if they do end up going through with the Euro CBDC style, that still might not be for a while because it looks like the testing is still being conducted and they're still finishing that up. And he says that they're pretty far behind it. So that's just what Anthony says. But I think, you know, where are we positioned perfectly? Once again, these stablecoins are being built on the XRP ledger. Palau did their stablecoin. Brazil, we had the institution out of Brazil that did the Brazilian real on the XRP ledger. Obviously, Ripple's doing RLUSD. Is SBI going to do the Japanese yen? Who's going to do the Thai baht? Another Ripple partner probably will, or Ripple could do it themselves, as you pointed out. RLEUR, right? Ripple euro dollar could easily be a thing, most definitely. And that's the advantage that we have now. It looks like there's no chance of a CBDC passing in the United States of America, which is great. But yeah. Yeah. Lagarde said digital euro as long as laws get passed in time. I disagree with Anthony. Yeah, we'll see. Once again, whenever it gets done, we're positioned correctly, right? On the XRP ledger. This is going to be the main hub of liquidity. The best source of liquidity in the world is going to be the XRP ledger, in my opinion. So, yeah. That's the nice part. We can just sit back. Whatever institutions, whatever central banks, whatever stable coins, you know, the best spot to do it on is going to be the XRP ledger. Any thoughts on Ondo? Yeah, I spoke on it earlier. I feel like I'm late, so I'm just not investing. I've been impressed with what they're working on, but I'm out on Ondo right now. I don't own any. I've never had any. Silverado, man, thank you for the 5-spot. I know you said 25 to 30 by the end of the year, but if everyone is getting involved, why couldn't it shoot to the 1000s much faster? Oh, well, that's a fun one. No wonder people in the comments were telling me that I missed this super chat. Everybody wants to know about $1,000 XRP, huh? Speaking of $1,000 XRP, I am going to be going on Jake's show tomorrow, or at least we're going to be recording an interview for his show tomorrow, Jake Claver. And I know he's been talking about a couple different scenarios where XRP could go up to $1,000. And I say, God bless him. I told Jake the other day, keep on bringing up $1,000 XRP, please. Somebody's got to do it. I know how much trouble you get in for talking about such high prices for XRP, but I'm one that's never been scared to go down that rabbit hole either. So we have to look at where do the existing holders want to get out at, and where the institutions, basically where do the holders want to get out of, and how much inflows are we going to get? That's what this comes down to. Because if everybody's selling off, we're going to be coming back down. If the institutions can overpower that sell pressure just because the sheer amount of inflows from ETFs, U.S. Reserve conversation, other things could happen. Obviously, when regulations pass and the SEC case is over, we're probably going to see bank partnerships in the U.S. go live. So, as all of this gets ramped up and gets going, we could easily, run up into the double digits and well beyond. This is why I say we got to consider, when do existing holders want out versus how much inflows are we going to get from institutions and retail. Now, retail inflows can get us up towards $7 to $10, and that's why I think that's what's coming in the short term for XRP in the next phase of this bull run, which is probably a short-lived alt season, maybe 2 to 6 weeks, where XRP is going to pump up to $5, $6, $7. Maybe it even stretches up towards 10. I don't think that it breaks 10 because there's too many people waiting to sell, which is why when you ask about $1,000 XRP, first we got to understand who's going to jump off this train before we go to $10. And that's a hurdle that we have to get across. So as I said earlier in this episode, we have to go up to that level so that we can get everybody out that wants to get out. And by the way, I'm selling off a small portion of my bag as we approach $10. Full disclosure, let's be very honest here. I'm planning on selling off a very small portion of my bag as we approach $10. And I will still hold a lot more XRP, but I'm somebody who wants to hit the exits before we get to $10, right? But there's people that want to full port their entire bag and cash out all of the XRP that they have. And a lot of retail traders that think XRP can't go past $5 or $6. We got to get all these people out. So XRP is probably going to run up to about that level, come back down. Then we can build that next floor price. That next floor price could be at $4, $5. We'll see. And then basically what we need is ETFs and institutions, massive inflows, and utility adoption to get us past $10 up towards $20 and $30 and beyond. I think that that's what retail cannot push us, I don't think, towards $20 or $30. I think that you're going to need ETFs and you're going to need institutions to get the amount of inflows that we need. And so that's what takes us to $20 to $30, and that's what would allow us to sustain those prices as well. Past that, basically it comes down to some of these crazy scenarios that we talk about where XRP is used as a liquidity solution to solve a broader liquidity crisis. XRP is put on the balance sheets of corporations, institutions, and governments and treasuries as reserves. XRP has significant supply shock as more and more people just hold the asset. There's less people willing to sell. We clean out the order books of the sellers, and this thing could go somewhere very quickly. And it's not just the inflows of dollars to buy XRP. It's the inflows of real world assets that are going to be tokenized on the XRP ledger as well, too. So, you got a list of variables that would take us past that $20 to $30 price. But like I said, I think that we get a retail pump up to $7 to $10 next 30 to 60 days, most likely. Maybe that stretches out into May, but I think that's what happens. We get that sell-off back down before we move on up later in the year. And this is why I say later in the year into next year is when I expect XRP to go above $20. So it'll be towards the end of this bull run. Inflows will still be coming into XRP because of ETFs and institutional adoption. We also have a DeFi explosion that's locking up and burning XRP. So the more dramatic the scenario plays out with the debt currency liquidity crisis and how much XRP is used as a solution is what would send XRP to $100 or $1,000 in the blink of an eye, relatively speaking. I don't rule out any high prices for XRP because I don't know who all wants XRP and how much they want. We talk about scenarios where the retail holder gets priced out of XRP. And interesting enough, there's billions of humans on the planet today that are priced out of XRP. So we're already getting up to interesting levels where there's a lot of people who can't afford an XRP wallet. Because even though we lowered the wallet requirements to 1 XRP, if XRP goes to $10, you've priced out a large segment of the population. XRP goes up to $20, $30. There's a lot of this world, a lot of this planet, and the average person that cannot even open up an XRP wallet. And what do they want? The institutions want you to buy their ETFs. Back into the comments here right now. Feel free to drop them. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Refresh. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Yeah. But Silverado, man, I hope that makes sense. I hope that's how I've thought through this process of going to $10, of going to $20 to $30, and what it would take for us to go to $100. There's scenarios out there. There definitely is. And I don't rule out any high prices for XRP. We don't know how those variables are going to play out. We also don't know how much the dollar is going to be devalued. We could go into a period of hyperinflation where XRP goes to $100, but a loaf of bread is $20, right? The cost of eggs is coming back down, and inflation's coming back down right now. But who's to say, that we don't reset this dollar as we know it? A lot of conversations about that happening, where we're resetting the debt, restructuring the debt, revaluing assets. We need to revalue our gold. Like we're at the point now where folks can really see, and I can report, like, hey, this isn't a hypothetical. We valued the gold in Fort Knox that's supposed to be in Fort Knox, right? At like $40 per ounce. Gold just hit $3,000 per ounce on the futures contract right now. So we have valued gold on our balance sheet and in our vaults at $40 per ounce, while gold trades at a multiple that's nearly 100 times that. So we need to revalue, we need to restructure, we need to reset. That also goes into XRP 589 equation. All right. Dennis, thank you for the 5 spot. Jake will tell you that JPM wanted to buy the entire escrow in 2018 in Brad's office. 15 executives from JP Morgan went to Ripple's offices. Yes, that's a fact. Thank you, Dennis, for reminding us. 15 executives from JP Morgan went to the offices of Ripple. Cost of eggs is not coming back down. Don't listen to an old millennial. That's a TikTok comment for you. Let's see. I'm actually at the young end of the continuum for millennials. Right? So I was like the last of the millennials. A lot of the millennials are older than me. I'm right at the end of that. A few years away, I think, between the next generation. But I guess I'm just an old guy. I don't know about eggs. And in fact, I said this the other day. I asked you guys, do you feel like the prices are coming down? Because at the grocery store the other day, I paid $8.50 for a dozen free-range Wilcox Farm pasture-raised eggs or whatever they call them. But that was, cage-free or whatever they call them. Oh, you were talking about the creator, not yourself. Okay. Okay. Sometimes I see these comments, I think you guys are talking to me. I'm like, okay, I haven't been called an old millennial. There was a hater in the chat the other day on TikTok, and I thought this was hilarious. I had my Trump shirt on, my Trump with the XRP logo, and they called me fat. And I was laughing at that one because I make fun of my dad bod all the time. You can't hurt my feelings, okay? Despite being a millennial, I'm not one of these softies that can't take a joke and can't clown on myself. So I was laughing, you know. They didn't have anything to say about Trump or XRP or what I was talking about, but they said something along the lines of, oh, so we need to buy a shirt that makes us look fat? It's like, okay, that's cool. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Yeah. That was the first time I think in my life I've ever been called fat, though. That was pretty funny. But I tell you what, ever since becoming a dad, I've had no problem keeping the weight on. I worked so hard when I was younger to try to get up to 180, 190. I remember I got out of high school and I worked out for a little period there. Got up to like I want to say 195, almost 200. I could never break 200. Now I hold 210 with ease. It's just not even a problem. But I've been getting my workouts in, especially on red days when the market's down. I like to get a nice pump in on those days. Trying to keep the dad bod in check, you know. Okay. Prendez Products, thank you for the 10 spot. I appreciate that one. Thank you. Could you explain how to sell XRP that I bought longer than a year to avoid higher Cali taxes if I continually buying and moving it to the same cold wallet? Well, typically you're going to agree to first in, first out. So the assets that you put into the wallet first are the ones that you're going to be taking out first when you take profit. That's like the standard. And that was the whole basically accounting rule that got changed. Now they've pulled back the DeFi broker rule, or they're going to be pulling back that DeFi broker rule. As far as this one, I think that this one didn't go into effect yet, but most people and most accountants are going to set you up with first in, first out on that basis. And if you're looking to, avoid having to pay taxes on that, please consider, as long as the Trump tax cuts remain in effect, I was just checking this myself. If you're filing jointly, you're married with your spouse, file jointly on your taxes, your first like 80,000 in capital gains, long-term capital gains, is at a 0% tax rate. If you're single, I don't know what the level is. It's like 50,000 or 60,000. So you won't pay any additional capital gains on that, but it will be added to your earned income. Zach Zebek, yes. How tall am I? I'm 6'3.5". And I'm actually 6'3". I know a lot of guys say that they're 6'2" or they're 6 foot. Come on. I know you guys right around 6 foot. You like to say you're 6 foot. You like to say you're 6'2". I can't tell you the amount of people that tell me they're 6'2", and I'm looking down on them. I say, no, you're not. No, you're not. But it's a great question. Let me go back to this super chat here. First in, first out is going to be the accounting method that you're probably going to select or you can declare. And that's what you were supposed to do by the end of the year, is you were supposed to basically make up a statement or right, we had like was there a form or something? I know Clinton Donnelly with the crypto tax audit had gone through with that. That eventually ended up, I can't remember if that actually went through or ended up getting pulled. There's been some back and forth on that. The good news is that most likely we're going to be getting no capital gains tax on US-based cryptos, or potentially, the IRS might go away completely. Now, see, we keep on moving the needle, and I told you guys about this. The icebreaker was no tax on tips. Then he took it no tax on Social Security. Then we went to no tax on OT. Now it's no tax on anybody making less than $150,000. But Howard Lutnick and others, and Trump has said himself too, we got to take a look at the IRS as a whole. And Howard Lutnick says the idea is to just get rid of the income tax completely. If you look at Buddy Carter's Fair Tax Act of 2025, it removes income, estate, gift, and payroll taxes completely and removes the IRS completely. So like I've been saying, what path are we heading down? It's the one laid with gold bricks. To finish off your question, though, hopefully I answered that. It's first in, first out. So as long as you can show that those first transactions that you bought of XRP were before a year ago, that would be qualifying as a long-term capital gains tax would apply for that sale. So as long as you have that, you're going to be good to go. Many of the exchanges will also keep tally for you, and they're going to be, the DeFi broker rule that's now being overturned, they were going to have to report that to you. So they're kind of figuring it out right now. I was talking with a guy the other day too, who is doing, he rolled over his 401k or his retirement account, basically to iTrust Capital. And he was talking about how all the trading that he's doing in there is tax-free completely because was his 401k. And that's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. I don't have iTrust Capital as a community resource, but I definitely should. Because what they're doing over there is pretty cool, allowing folks to get access to digital assets through their 401k retirement accounts and grow it tax-free too, before not having to wait around for regulations and laws to get passed, using the existing tax laws to take advantage of that. Dan Scavino posted no IRS. Ultimately, that's the goal. Yeah. Ultimately, that's the goal, is to get rid of the IRS completely. Big B36, thank you for the 20 spot. Hey, Zach, sorry about my super chat the other night. Too many adult beverages, LOL, like how Jungle plugged you in on his YouTube channel. Think we pump hard after April 15th. God bless. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. I vaguely remember what your question was. I can't remember. Would you misspell it? I forget what you did. Was it a silly question? Sometimes the adult beverages catch up to us, huh? That's why I got to be careful when I sip the wine on wine nights, or if I pour myself up some bourbon. Got to be careful. Catch up with you. Zach, have I ever collaborated with Mikkel? Not directly. I've been in spaces with him, hung out with him in Vegas last year. I really respect what he's doing and would love to collaborate with him in the future. Yeah. Big B says, yep. And Jungle Inc., yeah, I forget. I think I saw that he might have said something about me or something I said a while back, I think, right? What was that, a month or so ago? I forget. I actually I don't really remember seeing that. I vaguely remember that. But I don't know. I probably upset him because I call XRP a reserve currency or something. I don't know. I make a lot of people upset on Twitter. Pretty good at that. That's okay. We don't have to agree, right? We're heading in the same direction, same goals, same mission here. Why would you respect Mikkel? He rambles worse than Moon Lambo. Well, I like to ramble myself too. I mean, that's why I do these live shows, and we're approaching a 2-hour live session. And I know some people tell me I don't have time to watch it, and I understand that, but I like to hang out with you guys. That's the thing. So I'm sure Mikkel likes to hang out with his community too. That's why he does his live shows 5 days a week. I mean, he goes live almost every day. He's putting out good content. Yeah. And so, guys, I'm very supportive of many of the content creators, as long as they're not putting out blatant misinformation, scamming. I don't have to agree. We don't have to be friends. And everybody wants their own flavor of delivery of content creators. So there's room for plenty. And there's been some guys that have come along that have been doing well. Yo, Zach, will you elaborate on what you said about Zebek being a small problem? Thank you. El Pablo, yes. So my understanding is that one of the main utilities that Zebek network is solving and addressing is payroll. Now, it is a big thing. I mean, obviously, so many of us rely on, getting our pay stubs, getting our paychecks, and it is a significant utility. I just think relative to payments, cross-border payments, derivatives, smart contracts, data, there's other utilities that are just bigger in dollar terms. And so the addressable market from a dollar standpoint is bigger on some of these other cryptos. And so I focused on the cryptos that are solving the payment problems. Payroll is a part of payments. It is a decent utility. I just don't think it's that big. And then the other part of Zebek network opportunity, when I look at it, do I need a token, right? What's stopping? QuickBooks, that's what I used in my business. You don't need a token for QuickBooks. And it really, I don't know what they're improving in the payroll software, and I don't know why the token would be necessary. And then the overall problem itself is only so big. And then I feel like I'm late to it because it's already pumped up pretty good, right? What's the ticker? ZEBC? Everybody's been asking about this coin. ZBCN. Zebek Network. It's a new coin. And it's like I said with Ondo. With these new coins, it's very tough to tell how much further they could run because they don't have much chart history. So there's, when you're looking at Zebek and it has less than a year of chart history, it's not a lot to go off of. So then when I look at its fundamentals, I've explained that. Doesn't get me overly excited. And then when I see it had a nice pump, I want to see what that was. So I'm going to pull it up on TradingView right here. ZBCN. Let's see here. Okay. And so this is when I get concerned, right? Let's measure this. So back here, it didn't even take off after the election that much. After the election, it pumped 60%. It's not really that much. But then it caught another wave here in February. And we'll just measure from right there. And that gives us 174%, which is a nice move if you caught that one. But basically on all the other utility assets that I've been looking at, they've done so much better than that after the election. So for the Zebek network, to me, it's just not one that really is jumping out at me right now. What about you guys? If you're invested in it, tell me why. It's US based. That's good. I found a nice US based crypto chart. Let me see if I can find this for you guys. And it was a nice visual graph of all the US based cryptos. Crap, I lost it. I shared it in my Discord group. Let me go to my Discord group. I dropped it in the general chat right here. Yeah, this one right here. This is put out by Crypto Rand. Besides the big five that Donald Trump announced for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, here are a list of layer 1 and layer 2s that could see some off-spin benefit due to being founded by Americans, developed in the US by a US company, and they've set up headquarters in the United States as well. And so I'll show you the full graphic right here. Like he says, here's the 5 that Trump said are going to be in the reserve: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Ripple. And obviously that should not be listed as Ripple. That should be listed as XRP. But we look across the board here. You got some of our favorites: Algorand, Stellar, Hedera, Ondo, Digibyte. I know some people have been talking about that one recently too. DEG. What else do we got here? Say token. I got some Say token. Litecoin. There you go. Casper, XRP, Nano. Yep. I thought that was a pretty good graphic that he put together there. Somebody asked about HBAR. Yes. Just look up my 2025 coin review playlist. I did an HBAR deep dive. The price targets that I have for HBAR are 70 cents to $1. High side targets of $2. I don't think that it stretches out much past that. Block V is another one. So it's one of these projects that's caught momentum recently. But the problem is the correction was very deep on this asset, and in fact, it hasn't reversed course yet. Block V got pumped up very hard. 700% for Block V. Really strong move after the election. Really ran. But it has since pulled back over 60%. Today it turned red, and it's been red for the past 2 days. So it could reverse here, but that's a big time pullback. I don't know enough about that project to know if it actually has any fundamentals. I haven't looked at it at all, fundamental wise. Here's DEG, which ultimately ended up coming back to this level. I had put this level back on our Discord weekly call that we had on Sunday. I went through a bunch of different cryptos and placed the levels of support that I saw on all these charts where I thought a good entry could be made. And sure enough, DEG went down and hit that. For DEG here, let's measure this election pump. You know, I measure these on a full swing. Obviously, most people didn't time this move perfectly, but it just gives us an idea of the opportunity that was there, that you could have taken advantage of, I should say. 340% for DEG. And that's why I say, going back to Zebek Network, it caught a little hype, it caught a little wave. It still only pumped about 173%. So it's not an opportunity that's really jumping out at me. Am I bullish on XLM? Yes. Yeah, $2 to $3 for XLM this bull run. Which one should I invest in if I'm trying to make big money? Well, basically, if you go through my deep dives, you'll understand the context that I have on a few of these cryptos, like XCN, HBAR. I'm going to be dropping my DEG deep dive tomorrow. Obviously, everybody just wants price predictions. Zach, skip over the fundamentals, please. Just give me the price prediction. You're going to have to wait till the end of the video to get the price prediction, okay? Because I want you to understand my context for why I'm giving you that price prediction. These are not numbers that I'm just pulling out of my you-know-what. These are numbers that I come to based off of technical analysis combined with fundamentals. And the big one, too, that we added in is psychology. Market sentiment. What's the vibe of the community? What's the deal with XRP case? Behind closed doors, it's over. We're waiting for the official announcement. Silverado Man, can I answer your super chat? I thought that I did. Did you drop another one? You did. Thank you. Thank you for the 5 spot, my friend. Silverado Man, what is your thoughts on some of the people like Brandon Biggs who claim to have had dreams, visions about XRP, saying it will go insane overnight? I don't put too much emphasis on price predictions from profits, but I do find it very interesting how many people have had spiritual experiences, dreams, and visions about XRP specifically. I find it very interesting. But how much does a prophecy relate to an exact price prediction? I had a vision that XRP was at this price. To me, what I take away from that is you got people that have visions of XRP being worth a lot more than it is right now. What was the price in his vision? Probably irrelevant, depending on how much emphasis you want to put on it, right? Some people will get mad because I say, hey, it's an eclipse, full moon. Some people will get mad because they'll say, oh, the prophets are full of crap or whatever. Everybody has their different opinions. What I find interesting, though, is that you don't just have one or two prophets talking about XRP going to a big price. You have a lot of people who have shared, and I've heard testimonials of people sharing XRP visions, dreams, and spiritual experiences around XRP, along with the spiritual foundation that so much of our community has. So much of our community is tapped in and 100% does believe in it. Perception ends up being reality. And you listen to the XRP community, we speak of our spiritual foundation and the good that we're going to do with the wealth that's going to come from XRP and other assets that are going to help us take advantage of the transfer of wealth. We're very rooted in that spiritual background. What's interesting too is it's people from many different religions. I should remind everybody too, XRP is Sharia compliant. And in fact, we just got the green light from Dubai. There's Ripple connections with the Vatican, which I find that interesting because my mentor Dan Pena says that he's so interconnected with the Vatican that the Pope's slipper is coming out of his mouth. My mentor is a little vulgar, but you get the point. He's one of the few oil men to do a deal with the Vatican Bank. Okay. He was part of a top secret mission to actually overthrow the government in Haiti. I gotta be careful. I don't know how much I should even talk about it, but basically, Dan's connected. He was partnered up. Basically, it was a three-way deal where Standard Oil was going to partner up. Standard Oil with the CIA and the Vatican. It was a joint effort to overthrow the government of Haiti at the time. Standard Oil wanted, obviously, the energy resources. The Vatican wanted to have their influence over Haiti. And then the CIA didn't like the existing leader. And Dan was put in charge of recruiting the former SEAL team, the former military Green Beret veterans to amass a small army that they were going to invade the island with. And Dan, being the psychopath that he is, wanted to make sure that he was on the first chopper gunner that hit land. He tells a story of the deal falling apart. His mentor, Costa Grazzo, who comes from the Onassis shipping dynasty, told him, Dan, out of all the three groups here, the one that you most definitely should not trust is the Vatican. But basically, he says that I think it was Jimmy Carter at the time. This is back in the 70s and the 80s, back when they definitely did things a little differently. Well, actually, not too much. I mean, we still are doing deals, aren't we, to overthrow? But he says that basically the chain of command from the top down canceled the deal right before they were supposed to go live. Right before they were supposed to go live. Dan who? Dan Pena. Dan Pena. Okay, a couple other super chats that I need to catch up on. To your point, though, Silverado Man, I just find it very interesting that there are so many people that have had visions and dreams, and there's something there, right? There's a reason. There's a reason. My mentor Dan Pena, he says he's got an army of nuns that pray for him every single day, and they say that he's on a rocket ship to heaven, which is pretty funny when you listen to the guy, because you ask yourself, how the hell could this guy, one hell of a sinner, be on the rocket ship to heaven? But he gives all of his money to the Vatican. And he predicted that Mother Teresa was going to be the superstar nun that she was back before anybody even knew who Mother Teresa was. He was the only person that predicted negative oil back in 2020 after the pandemic. This guy's interesting. He said that cruise ships were going to be sold for scrap metal. That ended up happening. So he's tapped in with the right crowds. That's why I listened to him. Okay. Dennis says, Zach, you seem to be ignoring your own volume velocity price multiplier with XRP. If exchanges are empty, oh, I got to refresh my chat here. Let me refresh that. Check that. Zach, yeah. So with exchanges empty and basis for 1,700 NDAs is executed by banks by, yeah. So that's part of what I said with the institutional inflows. People think that XRP can't go to 20, 30 bucks. They don't understand that it might only take 10, 20, maybe 50 billion of inflows into XRP to see XRP go to that price. It's not going to take trillions and trillions of dollars. So I still am applying that to my analysis. It's just in the scenarios that I mentioned, that gets more dramatic. If the supply of XRP on exchanges has been drained and those inflows are coming in on XRP, then that multiplier is going to be even more dramatic. So we could see that. It's just, guys, I mean, basically, this is a matter of possibilities and probabilities is what we're betting on. So what's the probability of XRP going to $1,000 by the end of this year? I think it's very unlikely. I think it's not likely. $100, I still think it's very unlikely. 20 to 30 bucks, I think that we're at about 50%, right? 25 to 30 bucks, probably at about 50 cents or 50% on that odds. For the odds 7 to 10, it's 100%. 100% we're going to $10. But this is a game of probabilities, and I'm not going to hang my hat on something that I don't think is really that likely this year. Down the road, of course. But that's just where I stand on that. Scott says, yeah, guys, I understand. I totally get it. Remember, we don't have to like these people. I listened to the man because he was in the room. He was one of the few people that did deals with the Vatican Bank. So I get it. Dan finally just got knighted by the crown too. I get it. Litecoin holder, thank you for the 2 spot. What are your thoughts on Casino Coin? I hold it. They're getting some partnerships here and there. There's just no momentum behind the coin. So I hold some Casino Coin. I put some Casino Coin into the AMM. In fact, I got to provide that AMM update because I took profit on Casino Coin, or basically I didn't. Well, I guess I did make some profit. This is why I need to provide the AMM update, though, is because I want to break down the impermanent loss that I experienced from putting XRP and Casino Coin in the AMM liquidity pool. So I hold Casino Coin still. I was in the AMM for a bit. I'm now out of it. I don't know when I'm going to sell my Casino Coin. I'll probably look to transfer my Casino Coin this next bull run for XRP. Just like many coins that are on the XRP ledger, they're paired up against XRP. And so it should naturally rise alongside XRP. And that's when I'll just transfer into XRP probably at that point. Basically, on the AMM update, what I'm going to break down is how I made, well, I got my sticky notes right here. I made 72% ROI by providing liquidity to the XRP Casino Coin liquidity pool. On that same day, if I would have put that money into XRP, I could have made 430%. That's impermanent loss, which ends up becoming opportunity cost, is what it ends up happening. Once I pulled my liquidity out, I did pull out profit. Basically, in dollar terms, I put about $11 worth of XRP and Casino Coin into the liquidity pool, and I pulled out $19. So this was after about 10 months. So in the course of 10 months, I made 72% on my money. That's not bad. But if I would have just bought XRP, I would have made 400%. Now, the reason why it's called impermanent loss is because it's not a realized loss if you haven't sold. But what it ends up becoming is lost opportunity or opportunity cost, because at the end of the day, I made 72%, so I still made money, and I don't have losses, but I don't have as much gain as I could have had. So I lost out on the opportunity cost, and while I was in that trade, I did have impermanent loss. Okay. Jody Knowles, thank you for the 10 spot. My wife and I enjoy the nightly updates. Pretty cool to hear that you are a landscaper. We have this in common. I sold my business back a few years ago as well. Do you ever listen to All In Crypto? I do not. I think I've heard of that. I'm pretty sure I've heard of All In Crypto before. I don't think that I've ever really listened to them though. Yeah. So I can't comment on that, but yes, that's my background. Used to getting dirty. I'm excited to get out in the garden now. Now I get to have fun. I get to sip on my adult beverage. I get to take the kids out. We go play in the dirt, go throw some seeds in the ground, see what sprouts up. Probably not enough to live off of yet. So we're still working on a few things, but my daughter, while she was younger, she would go through and she would pull off all the strawberries and all the berries before they were ripe, the tomatoes before they were ripe, right? And she'd be over there eating green strawberries every time I turned around. So our yield was probably half of what it could have been because of my daughter doing that. And now she knows better. So this last year, she understood that the strawberries weren't ripe until they were red. And so she stopped pulling them for the most part. But now I got my son. And that stubborn little boy, I already know what he's going to be getting into because he's obsessed with just head down, figuring stuff out, playing with his hands, and moving. He doesn't like to watch TV. He doesn't sit around and watch TV much. He just wants to go, figure stuff out, play with stuff, make a mess. And now he's figured out that he thinks he's a funny guy, becoming a little troublemaker too. And so I'm sure that he's going to think it's hilarious to pick the green strawberries and eat them before they're ripe. But yeah, I don't have to worry about the deer or pests or too much. I don't really have to worry about too much of that getting at my garden. I just have to worry about my children. But that's what makes it fun. That's why I say, to me, I don't take it too serious. I throw seeds in the dirt. We see what pops up. We have fun. Go out and try to get a tan. Get my feet in the grass. I think there's a lot of people in the crypto space that need to get their feet in the grass a lot more. Need to get their hands in the dirt a little bit. Yep. So, Black Swan Capitalist put me on to Velo Protocol. What are your thoughts, Wesley Martin? A lot of people have been asking me about Velo. In fact, It's interesting. I don't know if it was a scam or not, but I did notice that I got a DM on my Twitter today by somebody from a marketing agency in Asia. It was asking me if I wanted to be a Velo Guardian. Now, I know that this is very common in the crypto space, where basically these projects will pay influencers to talk about their cryptos. You'll either get paid in cash or typically in tokens. And so I don't know what they were offering. I just saw the DM. I had a message request on my Twitter, and I look, who the heck is this? And it was some marketing agency group. But they've been a lot of scammers have been sending these types of messages to influencers. And so I never know if it's real or not. And so I did get a message asking if I wanted to be a Velo Guardian, and basically if I wanted to help market Velo. That's not how I operate, though. You guys know me. But I will be providing a deep dive on Velo, and I will let you guys know. The narrative that it's the XRP of Asia doesn't really sell too well on me, because XRP is already in Asia. The APAC region has been a region where XRP's had a lot of adoption. Is there room for Velo? Absolutely. I'm not in a position to speak on it right now. I'll have to deep dive it. But some of the initial things and narratives that I've heard about it sound okay. But I'll let you guys know after I take a look at it. Litecoin holder, thank you for the 5 spot. LOL, just got a commercial of Rosie Rios giving away free XRP. And there's the scammers for you. Yeah, there's the scammers. Do I own any money on the QFS? Okay, so those are all scams, okay? The QFS wallets, ledgers, assets, all of that scams. Okay? So no, I don't. No, I don't. The QFS is something that's being worked on. I believe that, there's nothing public right now. It's all behind the scenes. So please understand that and stay safe. Yes, eventually our financial system will be settled and be validated on quantum computers. That will happen eventually. It's not live right now, and only scammers are really reaching out to you about it right now. So if anybody asks you about the QFS right now, they're a scammer. I used to talk about the QFS more. I was thinking of actually changing on my Patreon memberships. The tier that I have is like QFS Society. Because when I first created my Patreon back in 2021, I talked about this a lot more. I talked about how we were going to a quantum financial system and how the system was going to be updated and everything. And so I thought, okay, this would be a cool name for our group. We'll call it the QFS Society. Well, now I'm thinking of, I probably should change that, because the QFS scammers are running rampant out here. And so people might be looking at my private group and they might be saying, oh, Zach's got a QFS Society private group. So this person messaging me about a QFS asset, ledger, wallet must be legit. So I've actually been thinking about that over the past couple of days, about how I might have to rename my Patreon group away from the QFS Society. Until the QFS goes live, I might have to switch that up. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate everybody who stopped by tonight for tonight's episode that went over 2 hours. We went long. Had a lot of fun with you guys, though. Tomorrow I'll be dropping the update on DEG. You guys won't want to miss this one. It's going to be a really, really interesting deep dive and a fantastic opportunity, I think, for us to consider in our portfolios right now. But I'll provide that unbiased. Up until today, I did buy some DEG tokens today. So full disclosure, I do have a bag. I don't plan on dumping it in the next 24 or 48 hours, so I'm not going to dump on you. Not in the next couple days, at least. I'll let you know what my targets are for DEG. And I hope that you guys have been enjoying the deep dives, all of our other content. I will be getting interviewed by Jake Claver tomorrow. I don't know when that interview will air, but I will let you guys know. I'll share the links in our Discord group, and I'll also share them with you guys on X. So make sure you guys are following me here, subscribed on YouTube, follow me on X. If you're on TikTok, make sure you guys have followed. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. Thomas Conservative, thank you for one last super chat. I really do appreciate that 10 spot as we finish off tonight. If everybody else could help me out for free, it takes nothing. Just tap it, just smack it, just please drop it. Or if you don't like what we're doing, if you're not a fan, please let us know why. After you smack that thumbs down for me, drop a comment and let me know why we suck. We appreciate all the feedback and we're always looking to improve. By the way, XRP family hats, they're on the way. What I've done here is I've ordered patches. So I've ordered, basically, the way this works in this merch game, from our suppliers, if we order in a bigger supply, we get a deal. So for the hats, I'm getting a supply of these patches, and basically it's going to be first come, first serve. We're going to, sell them as we get them, and we're going to be loaded up on XRP family patches to get started. So we're going to do the leather XRP family patch, and we're also going to do this textured. This is called a Flex Fit textured patch. So you can see if you look closely, it kind of has like a fingerprint texture to it, kind of unique and interesting. And so these are the two patches that we're going to start with, is the XRP family textured one, and then we're also going to do the leather one. And then the colors that we'll have available will be this white, will be this camo, and then I'm also going to do this one with the black on gray snapback. And then we also are going to do the Flex Fit. For you guys that have the bigger heads, we'll do the Flex Fits available in large and XL. So you'll have 3 different styles of hats to pick from. The Richardson 112 trucker hats, which are these ones. These are the Richardson 112 snapbacks, pretty popular right now. These are the Yupong snapbacks. We'll have these available for you guys. And then the Flex Fit. And then we'll have a few different color options available. But the 2 patches that we're going to get started with are going to be the leather XRP family and then the Flex Fit textured style XRP family. So the XRP family hats should be listed in the next couple days on the shop. That's just available at zachrector.com. Just go to the shop tab. That's all available there. And I appreciate you guys for all of your support. Really does mean a lot to us, whether you're just liking the videos, sharing them out far and wide, whether you've joined our private community, buying the XRP family merch, or just using our community resources. All of it supports the cause, helps us keep the lights on over here, and I really couldn't do it without your support. So thank you so much. I'm going to sign off for tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Okay, TikTok. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you. We have the blood moon eclipse in 3 hours. Somebody just set that on.